In this video, you are going to learn how to become the equivalent of an Olympic athlete when it comes to theory, through building theory sessions into your routine and having a clear schedule of tasks to do in those sessions. By the end of this video, you will have a monthly training plan which will give you an elite level of theory fitness. I'm Dr. Elizabeth Yardley, and for the last 20 years, I've been supporting students in UK universities to get to grips with theory. I've taught criminology, sociology, social policy, and every student who's implemented my theory systems has gone from having a stubborn mental block on theory to confidently and efficiently weaving it into every single assignment that they do. You are not going to regret watching this video. This was a technique I mastered in my own studies many years ago, and it's one I've been teaching to my students, and they have achieved some awesome results. First-class degrees, distinctions at master's level, PhDs. It works, and it works really well. When you start working on an assignment, you might feel that you're starting from scratch when it comes to theory, right? You might have a basic grasp of the theory that you'll be applying because you've probably come across it before, but you're probably going to have to go and look it up again, just to be sure, right? Feminist theory, Marxist theory, social learning theory, psychosocial theory. What was that about again? It does feel like you have to keep reinventing the wheel for every assignment. This is a waste of your time. What became increasingly apparent to me when I was a student, and what I've been teaching my students for the last 2 decades, is that you need to do self-directed learning about theory in parallel to the directed learning you're doing for your classes. What does that mean? The learning that you're doing for your classes is just stuff that you do, right? Because you have to do it. There's a level of urgency to it. You need to do the reading for the seminar on Thursday. You need to revise for that test next Tuesday. You need to meet up with your group to work on your presentation. You need to make sure you go to class this week to keep up your attendance figures. It's easy for you to fill up your week with this regular stuff. Most of you will, because this is the stuff you're held accountable for by your classmates, by your lecturer or professor, and by your institution. But on top of this, you need to be making time for self-directed learning, learning that you hold yourself accountable for, learning that you set for yourself, learning that is an investment in you and your degree. And when it comes to theory, this is an investment that is going to pay dividends, because knowing about theory, knowing how to use it is absolutely crucial in hitting some of those higher grade categories. You need to be setting time aside to dedicate to developing your knowledge and understanding of theory. Think about this as your theory fitness level. It's like training as an athlete or a sports person. You need to continually work on and develop your underlying strength, stamina, and flexibility on a regular basis. This needs to be part of your routine, part of your week, part of your month, part of your year, and it will serve you well for when you have to prepare for an assignment, because your assignment becomes like a sports event or a competition. If you're putting in the theory training in advance, you're going to do better than if you're not doing any training at all. You won't be starting from scratch every time because you've been gradually, incrementally building up your theory fitness and maintaining it at a good level. So how do you get theory fit? Let's dive right into that now. You are going to identify 90 minutes every week as theory time. You can find 90 minutes. Is this going to be your Wednesday morning thing, your Friday afternoon thing? Try and tag it onto something that is already an established habit or routine in your calendar, something that you do anyway. Don't try and put it in on a quiet day when there's not much going on, because you are less likely to do it then. Have you got a lecture at 11 a.m. on a Tuesday morning? Could you get to campus at 9:30 and get it done then? Have you got a big gap between lectures that you could slot this into? Are you on the go on a specific day and you have a bit of a gap where you could find 90 minutes to go sit in a coffee shop in between the other things that you're doing? Find the time that works for you and stick with it. Open up your calendar and make appointments with yourself for those 90-minute slots. So you will have 6 hours each month that you can spend developing your knowledge of theory. What is that going to look like? Every month, you're going to pick one theory or area of theory to focus on. That's right, you are going to have theory of the month. That theory is going to be your focus for that month. How is that going to look week on week? Let's break it down. Week 1. In your 90 minutes this week, you are going to read about the theory in an introductory theory textbook. Look for a textbook in your field that will give you an overview of the main bodies of theory. This will be a book that has a title like Introduction to Criminological Theory or Introduction to Counselling Theory. Look up the chapter on the theory or body of theory that you're focusing on that month. I encourage you to start with these theory textbooks because books like these give you a really good foundation, an overview, a general grasp of a theory, and that's where you need to begin. You might need to experiment with a few different books like this to see which ones you prefer. They will all have different styles, different ways of explaining it, so find one that resonates with you. When you've found your chapter on the theory you're focusing on for this month, you need to read through it. You need to absorb it, take it in, and make some notes on it. If you want a step-by-step guide on how to do this, check out my video on how to read academic literature, and I will put a link to that in the description. Week 2. In your 90-minute slot this week, you are going to go to the original texts. The chapter in the introductory book that you read in week 1 will have references in it to the original texts that underpin the theory. So if you're a criminology student, you might have decided to focus on strain theories this month and read a chapter about this in a theory textbook. That chapter will include a reference to Merton's work on anomie, another one for Cohen's work on delinquent youth. So go and access those original texts. Read through them, make notes, save the notes. Week 3. In your 90 minutes this week, look at how the theory has been applied. The way you do this is through a citation search on the original texts. Find the reference to one of those original texts in Google Scholar and click on Cited By. This will generate a list of other texts that have made reference to this theory. Where has it been applied and to whom? What topics are appearing towards the top of the search results? How has it been used more recently? Use some of the filters on Google Scholar to have a more detailed search. Download a few of those and scan through them. How have the authors interpreted the theory? What have they said about it? Here, you're getting a feel for how other academics are using the theory. Note down your thoughts on this. Does anything surprise you? Can you see any patterns in terms of to whom or what the theory has been applied? To whom hasn't the theory been applied? How helpful did these authors find the theory? Make some notes on this. Week 4. Your 90-minute slot in week 4 is going to focus on getting all of your learning this month into an accessible, easy to use format. You are going to be writing up a one-page summary of this theory that you can pull out and use in your assignments. This is going to include a description of the theory, its key principles and arguments that you established in weeks 1 and 2. You're going to summarise your notes on the use of the theory and where it's been applied that you looked at in week 3. In addition to this, you are going to evaluate the theory. So in week 4, based on how this theory has been applied, make a judgment about the value of it, the usefulness of it. How valuable is it? How helpful is it? How relevant is it now in the 21st century? Try your hardest to keep this document to a one-page summary. Don't make it much longer than this. Because when you're writing your assignments, you don't want to have to read through reams and reams and reams of notes. You want a quick refresher, not another mammoth reading task. And that is how you do Theory of the Month. Before you go do that, don't forget to like this video and subscribe to my channel so you don't miss any of my advice and strategies on getting to grips with theory. If you'd like more tips like this, sign up for my weekly emails. Every Wednesday, I send out a little dose of study inspiration straight into your inbox, and I will let you know how to sign up for those emails in the description.